a sacred text that over 1 billion people live by.
It's a rule book about how to live one's life.
And yet it holds untold mysteries.
It has the ability to provoke many meanings.
You have clearly texts in which God talks about peace and mercy, etc. But you also have texts that deal with violence and warfare.
From the Quran's mystical origins in the desert,
He heard this voice, and the voice said, recite.
To its dire warnings on justice and retribution.
The Quran is not shy about explaining the explicit punishments that people will suffer in hellfire.
What is at the heart of this holy scripture? What are the secrets of the Quran?
Muslims believe that the Quran is something that was revealed by God directly to the Prophet of Islam.
It's not merely what God inspired his prophet to say, or say the history of some important event. It is actually God's own message to the world.
In Arabic, Quran translates as the recitation. The scripture is meant to be spoken aloud. By doing so, Muslims believe they are communicating directly with God.
The Quran, in preserving God's speech, becomes essentially a part of God. And as such, the text itself, the physical words, the pages, and the book itself has this intrinsic sanctity, this intrinsic holiness to it.
Paging through the sacred text, one might first see similarities between the Quran and Jewish and Christian scriptures. Each speaks of one all-powerful God, and they all tell a number of the same stories. But many see the Quran as a book shrouded in mystery. Its verses, long considered some of the most beautiful Arabic ever written, are a labyrinth of language, more poetry than prose. And its layout defies easy understanding. Unlike the Bible, the Quran follows no chronology or narrative. Rather, its 114 chapters, or surahs, are organized mostly according to length, with the longest at the beginning and the shortest at the end.
There's this almost what we would describe in modern times as a kind of stream of consciousness style to it. There's a kind of mysteriousness. The curious reader in reading the text just is left wondering.
It doesn't tell, for example, the history of Muhammad. It doesn't even tell the history of the world. There is reference to the beginning of the world, to God's creation, but you won't find it in the beginning of the Quran. You'll find it somewhere in the middle.
Muslims don't see the Quran as a story. They see it as God's message to his creation, a rudder to steer believers on the right path.
It's a rule book about how to live one's life, about how to define one's morality, how to experience the world and the struggles and the conflicts that the world brings about.
Deciphering the Quran's meaning is no easy feat. There is no governing religious body in Islam, no Vatican to tell believers how to navigate the complicated text. Each person's understanding of the scripture is his own.
As a Muslim, you have to believe what the Quran says. Now, of course, the interpretation of what the Quran says could be different depending on who you listen to.
So what does the Quran really say? And what does it really mean?